What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Continuing on with the bow build topic. I've been working on both of my bows, getting further along the process, and there's some things that come up that that you don't really remember too much until you actually get into them. And one of those things, let me get to my phone from down here, that I wanted to talk about today was actually having two bows. So the last couple years, last year specifically, I hunted with one bow all year, and it happened to be the previous year's bow. So it was the second year that I was able to hunt with it. And I did that just because it felt so comfortable. I'd shot it the year before very well, continued to shoot it in the off season last year, and when I picked up the new bow, it just didn't give me what the old bow was doing, so I stuck with the old bow. Kept the other bow as a backup, but never really shot it much. This year, being very impressed with both bows, the RX4 Ultra as well as the Axios Ultra, set one up for a couple different applications. So I've got two bows set up, and one of the things that just comes to mind is having two bows is not necessarily the best thing for everybody. And again, they're in different stages of the process. They're almost done, both bows. They're getting very close. I'm going to start working on some broadhead things, some broadhead shooting, tuning, and testing, because just like what I've been doing here with subtle change. I did a video on the two different arrows for this bow, which in overall weight are very close. They're only 12-15 grains difference, something like that. Same fletch, same offset, same length of arrow, just a little different tip configuration. And I've been playing with those, but subtle changes. And again, this bow being pretty much done, I've probably put, I don't know, a couple hundred arrows through it now on the new set of America's Best bowstrings. Everything's dialed, the peeps tied in, got my pinch knots in. I double checked the paper tune, made a small adjustment to it, and then I'm going to continue on with the process of tuning broadheads and that kind of thing. So that's where this bow is. But it's also, I've been playing with the grips a little bit. So I've got an Ultra View grip back on here. I've been playing with side plates and the Ultra View grip. The thing that I'm not a huge fan on of this grip is it is more of a high wrist. So your wrist, instead of it being more in a neutral position, it has a tendency where your wrist just comes up just a touch. Not used to shooting with that type of high wrist, but it's not bad, it's just different, it's new. So again, playing with it. But again, this bow, I just shot a group down range at 60 to finish my practice session this morning. It was about a 3-inch group with 5 arrows at 60 yards, and it feels really good. It's set at 28.5 inch. That's the other thing I want to bring up with this grip. Having taken the side plates off, I left this at 28.5, so I don't want to say extended, but I'm just a little bit more compressed, which I usually like for bow hunting, because when you get into those more situations where you need to maneuver a little bit more, I like it to be on the draw length, to be just on the touch, perfect to just a touch on the short side, and that's what this bow is giving me. So then going to the Axios Ultra, this bow, I need to get into the process of taking it back in. I've probably shot 150 shots of this bow now. Actually did a lot of the effective range challenge with this through rock slide. I just got it sighted in quickly and shot it. And as that challenge progressed, I was realizing that some of my groupings were better than others. And it's a new bow. Again, the strings weren't perfectly dialed in yet. So I need to take it back in and check specs, get my pinch knots tied in, tie my peep where it needs to be, and then start the tune process back in. But this bow, because I left the standard grip on it, I set it to 29 inch, so I'm a little bit more, on the draw, I'm a little bit more extended slightly. Like I said, this grip does make a bit of a difference when you go with the grip to just side plates on the RX4 as far as draw length. So all that being said, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't usually like to do two different builds at once, changing so many things at once, but we've had so much time to practice being at home a little bit more, some of us, that I've just put in the time, and I've been working both of them. But there's something to be said about having one bow that you can really just practice with, learn, get familiar with, and have and develop that 100% confidence in it. I'm not saying I'm not going to develop that in two bows. Like I said, I've actually been shooting more recently than I have in the past, but there's something to be said to having one bow. Again, I'm building 2 different bows for 2 different applications. This one's 80 pounds, 500 grain arrow. This is going to be pretty much my September bow. Hoping to get to New Mexico for elk, Colorado for elk, and then some mule deer hunting in Colorado. My RX4 is going to be that pronghorn, and then late season bow where it's set at 70 pounds. So if I'm sitting in a tree stand and it's single digit temps, you know, I haven't moved all day, it's a little smoother for me to draw that bow. So like I said, there's something to be said to have one bow. If you're going to make the decision to have 2 different bow builds, try to get them as close to each other as you can. Again, specs on this one, they're on paper they're the same. They're a touch difference I don't want to get into right now, but very, very similar in build. I'm actually going to set both of these bows up at the same draw length. Once I determine which grip system I want to continue with, I'm going to put the same grip system on both bows if possible, and run both the same. So that way I'm set about the same draw length. Anchor point feels familiar. The only thing that's going to be different is a little bit more holding weight on this bow. So again, tinkering, playing. The next few videos I want to get into, this bow being a heavier starting platform than that one, I've done a few things to this bow. Minor tweaks, again, just to consider the overall weight factor. And I want to do a video on that just to show you guys some of the things that I've incorporated, how they've affected everything. Accuracy really is paramount on that, because carrying an extra half a pound isn't that big of a deal. But I wanted to just show you, like I said, there's some lightening up these bows is possible, and they're going to finish out similar to each other. I'm going to probably try to shrink the gap a little bit from that half-pound starting platform just by a few of the accessories, and they're a very similar build. So again, I hope you've enjoyed the process of some of the things that I've went through on the build for both of these. But they're both looking sharp, I'll tell you that. I mean, I think on a look standpoint, I'm very pleased with the way both of these, I mean, the strings, like I said, are money. Going with a couple different finishes this year. But thanks for following along, and be bringing you another video soon, so stay tuned.